Chapter 20. The United Nations. Let's learn formation of the UN, objectives of the UN, organs of the UN, agencies of the UN, achievements of the UN, India and the UN. The United Nations, that is UN, is an organization that helps maintain peace in the world. The name United Nations was first used by Franklin D. Roosevelt, the then President of the United States of America. Formation of the United Nations. The United Nations was formed in 1945 after the Second World War. Millions of men, women and children lost their lives, and many more people were left homeless in these terrible wars. The economy of many countries was ruined since a huge amount of money was spent in these wars. Many countries realized that wars were not a solution to any problem and they should be avoided at any cost. These countries felt that an organization should be formed to stop wars in future. The League of Nations. The League of Nations was formed after the First World War, but it could not prevent another worldwide conflict. After the Second World War, another organization was formed. This was the United Nations Organization. The UN Charter was signed by 51 countries, India being one of them. It came into being on 24th October 1945 at San Francisco in the USA. This day is celebrated all over the world as the UN Day every year. Today, 193 countries are members of the organization. The United Nations has its own flag, emblem and constitution. Ban Ki-moon is the current Secretary General of United Nations. Objectives of the United Nations. The main objectives of the United Nations are to maintain peace and security and settle disputes by peaceful means, to promote friendly relations among the nations, to remove poverty and unemployment, to ensure the freedom of all people, to promote respect for human rights, to improve the living standards of the people around the world, to help fight diseases and preserve the environment. Info Hive. Trygve Lie on Norway was the first Secretary General of the UN from 1946 to 1952. Brain Tickler. Name the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. Organs of the United Nations. The work of the United Nations is carried out by 6 main organs, out of which 4 are the main functionaries. General Assembly. The General Assembly is the central organ of the United Nations, where every nation can speak up and be heard on any matter. All the members of the United Nations are represented in it. Each country's vote carries equal weight. It meets once a year in November. Its headquarters is in New York. Security Council. The Security Council is in charge of maintaining peace and security among member countries. It is made up of 15 member states consisting of 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. InfoHive. If 4 permanent members of the Security Council are in favor to take a decision but one says no, then the decision of the 4 cannot be implemented. Economic and Social Council. This council is one of the principal organs of the United Nations, responsible for coordinating the economic, social and related work of 14 UN specialized agencies. It has 54 member states out of the 193 United Nations member states. The Trusteeship Council. This council, which is no more functional, looked after the region of the world which were not independent. Earlier, there were 11 such regions, but now they have become independent and have joined the UN. Brain Tickler. Name the two members with observer status in the United Nations. The International Court of Justice. The International Court of Justice, based in The Hague, the Netherlands, is the United Nations principal organ for the administration of justice. It is composed of 15 independent judges chosen by the General Assembly and the Security Council for 9-year terms. The court has heard cases related to war crimes, illegal state interference, and ethnic cleansing among others, and continues to hear cases. The Secretariat. The day-to-day activities of the United Nations are carried out by the Secretariat. This body is headed by the Secretary General of the UN, who is the most powerful official and acts as the leader and spokesperson for the entire United Nations. Agencies of the United Nations. There are many agencies of the United Nations which work on common world problems. Some of the agencies are as follows. UNESCO, Paris, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, was created in 1946. It promotes international collaboration in education, science and culture. It also protects human rights. United Nations Children's Emergency Fund, New York City, was created by the UN General Assembly in 1946. It works for children's rights, their development, protection, and survival. It provides long-term assistance to children and mothers in developing countries, helping to solve the problems of literacy and disease. World Health Organization, Geneva, was formed to look after public health on an international level. It promotes the general health of the people of the world. Health for all is the main objective of WHO.
Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, Rome,
is an agency that is working towards removing hunger from the world. Its motto is, "Let there be bread." International Labour Organization, Geneva, aims to promote opportunities to men and women in obtaining work and to ensure the workers' right. Achievements of the United Nations. The United Nations has played an important role in maintaining peace and to settle international disputes. It has reduced tension in many areas through goodwill missions and peacekeeping operations. Its efforts have prevented conflicts from growing into major wars in Congo, West Asia, Cyprus, and Yemen. In 1988, the Nobel Prize for Peace was awarded to the United Nations peacekeeping forces on account of the work done through its peacemaking operations.
The United Nations has opposed worldwide apartheid, the policy of racial discrimination in general and in South Africa in particular. The United Nations also promotes disarmament, that is, it plays an important role in arms control, particularly in preventing the use of nuclear weapons.
India and the United Nations.
India joined the United Nations on 30th October 1945, 6 days after the United Nations was founded. So, India is considered one of the founding members of the United Nations.
After independence, India has participated actively in all activities of the United Nations. India represents the largest democracy in the world and also contributes money to the United Nations. India has given full support to the United Nations peacemaking efforts. India has sent its troops on peacekeeping missions to many war-torn countries of the world. India has participated in the relief operations of the United Nations agencies. India has always supported the use of atomic power exclusively for peaceful purposes. Recap: the failure of the League of Nations and the occurrence of the Second World War led to the formation of the United Nations.
The United Nations Charter established 6 principal organs and several agencies of the United Nations that serve different functions.
The UN has its own flag and constitution. The Security Council consists of 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. India is considered one of the founding members of the UN and has participated actively in all its activities. Teacher, why do we need to maintain peace and harmony in our city?
Rohan, maintaining peace and harmony is very important because it helps us to progress and prosper.
How can we do this?
If everyone can do their bit, practice non-violence and spread love, peace and harmony can be easily maintained.
Values for life. Never underestimate the power of love and compassion. If you can promote the feelings of brotherhood, cooperation and mutual consideration amongst people of your neighborhood, you have brought peace to a part of the world.